At the city's edge stood a grand estate, a towering emblem of wealth and authority. Behind its imposing iron gates lived a man who owned half the city's towering buildings. His signature could alter the fortunes of businesses overnight. Yet, for all his riches, for all the polished marble and sparkling chandeliers that adorned his home, he carried a sorrow no wealth could mend. His daughter, Emma, was believed to be blind. From her toddler years, doctors had confirmed it. Her eyes never followed beams of light, never reached for bright colors, never met her father's gaze when he tried to elicit a smile. The magnate, Mr. Harper, built his life around this painful reality. He acquired the finest Braille books, employed the most skilled caregivers, and sealed his heart behind a wall of regret. He blamed himself for not being present at Emma's birth, for leaving her mother to manage those fragile early months alone. By the time he sought to make amends, it was too late. His only child, his sole hope, would never see his face. Thus, the estate grew cold, staffed by servants who moved like phantoms, and a father who buried his grief in boardrooms and business calls. Emma, dressed in flawless gowns, clutched her toys and wandered the halls in silence. Everyone accepted the diagnosis. Everyone trusted the doctor's verdict. Everyone, that is, except the maid. Before we dive deeper into this tale of heartache, discovery, and renewal, I have a small request. If you believe in compassion, miracles, and second chances, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to our channel, Hope Haven. Your support helps us share stories that remind the world of empathy and love. The maid, Nora, was a young woman in her 20s, armed with little more than determination. She worked long hours, scrubbing marble floors that reflected her weary face and dusting furniture she could never afford. Yet, Nora carried an inner light that poverty could not dim. She treated Emma not as a patient to be pitied, but as a child deserving of joy, laughter, and friendship. From her first day, Nora noticed what others overlooked. When she entered a room with a tray, Emma's head tilted slightly before Nora made a sound. When she arranged vibrant flowers in a vase, Emma's eyes lingered on the petals for a moment longer than chance would allow. And once, when Nora dropped a gleaming hairpin onto the rug, Emma's gaze flickered downward, as if drawn to its shine. At first, Nora hesitated to speak. Who was she, a maid struggling to support her siblings, to challenge the words of doctors or the beliefs of a man as powerful as Mr. Harper? Yet her heart whispered what her lips dared not. Emma could see. Perhaps not clearly, but enough. Weeks passed, and Nora began to test her quiet suspicion. She placed toys at different angles, noting how Emma's hand reached unerringly for the one bathed in sunlight. She wielded a flashlight under the guise of cleaning, catching the subtle narrowing of Emma's pupils. Each clue strengthened her belief, but also stirred fear. If she was wrong, she risked her job. If she was right, a painful truth had been hidden for years. The turning point came one radiant afternoon, when the estate's tall windows flooded the playroom with light. Emma sat in her crimson dress, cradling a stuffed bear. Nora gently shone a small torch toward her eyes, not to startle, but to test for a sign. And there it was, a glimmer of life, a reflection of light, proof that vision was not lost. Nora's breath caught, her hands trembling with astonishment. She whispered to herself, "This child isn't blind. She's been trapped in a story that isn't hers." At that moment, footsteps echoed across the polished floor. Mr. Harper stood in the doorway, his sharp suit contrasting with his tired eyes. He froze, watching Nora with the torch. Suspicion clouded his face as Emma's innocent gaze turned toward the light. But what followed broke something within him. Emma's eyes, wide and vibrant, followed the beam, alive with awareness. The room grew heavy with tension. Nora feared she had overstepped, but it was Emma who broke the silence. With a faint smile, she reached toward the light, her voice trembling as she said, "It's so bright." Mr. Harper stumbled back, his heart racing. For years, he had accepted her blindness as fact, carrying guilt like chains around his soul. To hear her words, to see her respond, was it possible? Could it be true? His legs weakened, and for the first time, the mighty tycoon felt powerless. Nora stood firm, her voice steady despite her racing heart. She recounted every detail she had observed, the subtle movements, the signs others ignored, the quiet tests she conducted in the margins of her duties. She admitted her fear of speaking out, but also her certainty that Emma was not blind, only misunderstood. Mr. Harper grappled with her words. He recalled the doctors, the countless appointments, the grim faces that delivered unchallengeable verdicts. How could a maid, untrained in medicine, see what they had missed? Yet, before his own eyes, the truth was undeniable. What followed was a flurry of action. New specialists were summoned, not those who had dismissed Emma before, but fresh voices willing to reassess. Tests were conducted, lights shone, patterns traced, and gradually, the truth emerged. Emma had a rare condition that limited her vision but did not erase it. With therapy, care, and proper treatment, her sight could improve. In the privacy of his chambers, Mr. Harper wept where no one could see. For years, he had believed his daughter lived in darkness, and in his grief, he had distanced himself, fearing he would cause her more pain. Yet all along, she had been waiting for him to notice, to reach out, to believe. It was not his vast wealth that gave her a chance at a fuller life, but the compassion of a maid who refused to ignore the truth. As months passed, Emma's progress blossomed like spring after a harsh winter. She began to discern colors, the blue of her teddy bear, the green of garden leaves, the gold of sunlight dancing across the floor. Mr. Harper committed himself to being present, reading vibrant picture books with her, guiding her hands as she painted joyful rainbows, chuckling when she marveled at the gleam of his cufflinks. Above all, he could not forget Nora. Her courage had rewritten his daughter's future. He offered her wealth, promotions, and anything she desired. Nora, ever humble, asked only that Emma receive love and time, gifts no fortune could purchase. She remained at the estate, not for the wages, but for the bond she had forged with the little girl whose world was expanding daily. Emma's story spread softly through the neighborhood, then across the city. It became a tale shared in markets and cafes, a story of a billionaire's daughter, once thought blind, saved by the heart of a servant. It offered hope, a reminder that truth often lies in unexpected corners, and that kindness holds the power to transform lives more than wealth ever could. For Mr. Harper, the change was profound. He no longer measured his worth by signed contracts or towering buildings, but by the light in his daughter's eyes when she ran to embrace him after therapy. He no longer lingered in boardrooms. Instead, he knelt on playroom floors, building block castles with Emma and Nora. The estate, once silent, now echoed with laughter, music, and the simple joy of a child discovering a world she was told she could never see. Nora, though she sought no acclaim, became the quiet hero of their tale. To Emma, she was more than a maid. She was the sister she never had, the guardian who saw what others could not. To Mr. Harper, she was a reminder that life's greatest treasures are not locked in vaults, but found in the courage to care. If this story stirred your heart, if it reminded you that even the smallest acts of kindness can alter a life's path, please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to Hope Haven. Your support helps us continue sharing these heartfelt, true-to-life stories with the world. Before we close, I have one special request. Please leave a comment below. Share what this story meant to you, or a moment when someone's kindness changed your life. Your words might inspire someone else who needs hope today. And so, the estate at the city's edge was no longer just a monument to wealth. It became a home where light streamed through windows and hearts alike. A place where a child learned to see, a father learned to love, and a maid proved that, even in the grandest halls, kindness is the greatest treasure of all.